My name is Tim Bruns. I'm Associate Professor in Biomedical Engineering and kind of grad chair for the program as well. And also co-host on all of these activities today will be David Norsletten, who's an Associate Professor in our Admissions Chair as well. And then also joined by an illustrious panel currently of other faculty. We'll have a faculty panel in a little bit. I'm going to highlight here a couple of things on our department. You can learn more about our program through our website at bme.umich.edu, and we're represented in different ways on social media as well. So we've got this morning, I'll kind of give a program overview for about 10 to 15 minutes or so. And kind of after the end of this, running through some of these slides, if there's some key questions that come up right here, we can potentially address them, or we'll move into a faculty panel. We have Doctors Coleman, Wangsad, Shikhanov, Stegeman, and Shu who will be joining us. And then after that, starting around 10:45 or so, depending on how long the faculty panel goes, we'll have some graduate students join us. They can talk about their experiences and answer your questions as well. So where are we? So start off, just highlight, University of Michigan. U of M itself has 3 locations in the state where there's campuses. Ann Arbor is the primary university location. And so we're located in Southeast Michigan. It's about 125,000 people in the city. It's a great place to live, as I'll highlight later. We are about 45 minutes from Detroit, a few hours away from a couple other major cities up here in Michigan. In town, there's a couple of main campuses. North Campus is where engineering buildings are, and many of our labs and classes are at. The medical campus, where our hospital is at, is a short drive or short bus ride away. There's always connection between the two. Adjacent to Central Campus, where I say liberal arts and sciences and some of the other programs are located. So U of M itself, depending on which resources or which locations you look, we're anywhere from the top to second or third public university in the country based on different rankings. Also, depending which source you look on, we're anywhere from 15 to 25 as far as world rankings. So it's an excellent university with around 46,000 total students, so very large, about 1/3 of which are graduate students. There's about 500,000 alumni, so it's an excellent network to be a part of. We have many different schools and programs, and with that, there is a large amount of research activities on campus. In fact, among public universities, we're the top ranked research volumes, over $1.5 billion in money that flows through the university. So a lot of things going on. And with that, we have highly ranked graduate programs, as I'll mention as well, in engineering, dentistry, law, and other programs. As far as engineering and medicine, so our department is a joint department with the College of Engineering and the medical school. So we have really direct access to faculty and collaborations across both directions. On the engineering side, we're one of 11 top-ranked departments. And at left, there's a couple of pictures from our beautiful campus, engineering campus. On the medical school side, we have both, it's a highly ranked medical school, but the hospital itself is one of the top hospitals in the country. BME is one of the 9 basic science departments, along with other departments like neuroscience or cellular molecular developmental biology. And there's 20 different clinical departments as well. And it's very active research and clinical environment. So the biomedical engineering department itself, we're a top 10 both graduate and undergraduate programs. So we have excellence in both areas. And historically, we've had top 10 engineering, medical, and business schools all in one campus, which is very unique. Although lately the medical school is just outside that top 10 range. High levels of research among BME departments, about top 5 in annual research expenses. It's a great environment for a lot of activity. Going back, we have a long history in our department, about 120 PhD students, 100 master's students, and several hundred undergraduates. Among that, we're about 40 to 50% women, 20 to 30% international. About 4.5 years to complete a PhD, about 3 semesters to complete a master's program. And with all of that, we have over 100 core and affiliate faculty that you can work with, take classes with, interact and network with in different ways. And our research breadth covers basically all the areas of biomedical engineering. Ranges from biomechanics, computation, engineering education, imaging, micro and nanotechnology, neural engineering, as well as tissue or regenerative medicine. So we kind of cover the full breadth. And I'd like to highlight just 3 of the many different research areas we've had and interesting things that graduate students are a key focal part of. One of those I want to highlight is an approach called Histotripsy. for non-invasive surgery. This was developed by Jen Su, who, as a graduate student, worked with Charles Kane, and now she's a full professor in the department. And her research determined or identified that using specific ultrasound parameters can ablate tissue. And so they moved to doing in vivo studies where I'm able to use this ultrasound approach. There's some tiny bubbles here that are ablating a blood clot within an animal model. And that's so great promise. And then they turned that into a startup company called Histosonics that's going through the FDA approvals towards clinical use of this approach, ranging from different cancer applications, cardiovascular use, like blood clot removal, as well as other brain applications as well. Another exciting research thrust is coming out of Sherman Phan's lab, where they have come up with an optimized approach for ELISA, so the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay testing. And out of Sherman's lab, they've developed faster, smaller, cheaper sample screening for a startup company called Optofluidic Bioassay. It's kind of based around this microfluidic technology. And a PhD student who just graduated was testing and developed this as a way to screen for antibody testing. And now Optofluidic Bioassay, the company, is branching or using this for future work. And a lot of this is made possible through the Center for Integrative Research in Critical Care, so one of our many ties to the hospital medical fields. One last research area I'd like to highlight is the RPNI, or amputee prosthesis control, that first started with affiliate faculty Paul Sederna. So he's a plastic surgeon who helps amputees who have chronic nerve pain where they lost a limb. So he understood if you wrap that nerve with a muscle, it ends up turning into both a way to heal the pain, but also an interface that you can communicate with. So we partnered with Cindy Chestick, core faculty in BME, and first through Coulter Foundation, they did some animal research studies and then translated that into some clinical studies where individuals with amputees can use this RPNI to control advanced prosthetic limbs. So they're taking and working with this forward. For example, a project where I'm working directly with clinicians and then a PhD, and this they'll do, and then with the patients receiving these technologies. So for trainees in our department, we have many different opportunities. There are a variety of training grants which help extend your opportunities or things that you can work with. Through the College of Engineering, Medical School, or Biomedical Engineering facilities, we have excellent core facilities, microfabrication, microfluidics, materials characterization, and so on. Just excellent facilities we use. And as I highlighted a little bit, we have a Coulter Foundation, an endowed partnership where every year projects between clinicians and engineers are funded to support their translation into the clinic. And it's not just in BME, it's across campus wide where people are involved in the Coulter Foundation. For curriculum, there are master's and PhD students may take about 30 credit hours to get the master's degree. This includes graduate courses in math, statistics, life sciences, experiential component, and then concentration and elective courses across 6 different concentrations that cover the span of biomedical engineering. What I'd like to highlight that medical product development is a kind of a master's focus concentration that's geared around a 2-semester design class that's advanced design that's really enjoyed by the students. For PhD students, take an additional 9 credits of curriculum and have a qualifying exam at either the end of the 2nd year or the 1st year if you come in with a master's degree that kind of helps prepare you for moving on to the next phase of research. For PhD students, we guarantee 5 years of funding, or 4 years if you come in with a master's. And all PhD students meet with at least 4 faculty, give a possibility of shadowing as well, and rematch students at the end of November, or start of November, just to make sure you're kind of tied in with a good lab. So we have a really strong and excellent graduate community. One of the things I'm really proud of at our department. There's a graduate student council that leads activities throughout the year to promote socializing among groups. There's several department activities that they drive, from the faculty or the graduate student retreat every fall with faculty to the recruitment weekends and other activities. And these are some of the pictures of things over the years. And even during the during the pandemic as well. So we're maintaining a strong community among students, from providing supplies to the hospital. There's an annual 5K that students run that's gone virtual this year. Students are continuing to give events and socializing, even participating in internships and continuing to do their research as well. I also want to highlight as well, we have a great, Ann Arbor is just a fantastic place to live. We get all 4 seasons. In the summertime, there's a river that runs through town. In the summertime, it's a great place to hop on and float boat down the river. We're about to enter into a really beautiful fall. Going up north is a common thing, either in the summer or in the winter, where people go skiing and enjoy the outdoor activities. There are many different cultural events across Ann Arbor in the area. And if you're into athletics or sports, Ann Arbor's got all of that as well. Sitting in a giant bowl with 100,000 other people on a beautiful fall day is quite a fun thing to do. And mention as well, when you see lists of great places to live or small towns in America, Ann Arbor, rightfully so, is often at or near the top of those lists. Finally, one thing I want to highlight with a few other points, if you're considering applying to graduate programs here, just a few suggestions or recommendations or comments. For both master's and PhD programs, an engineering undergraduate is usually the most common undergraduate degree. Is looking for people that have be able to work through the rigors of our graduate curriculum, but it's not required. So there are people without engineering degrees who can be successful. GRE is not required for admission, so this is the first year where it's not required for PhD as well. And as we show on our website, the 3.5 GPA, in general, it's a guideline, but it's not necessarily a rule, depending on how your overall application looks. With a master's degree, lower than 3.5 is common for being admitted, and PhD can be below it as well. As far as PhD itself, we certainly take more of a holistic approach. You're more than just a GPA, for example, as far as getting your PhD program. Prior experience is a very important factor, whether that's working on a research lab or industry. But with that, having a publication is not required because we know getting publications can be a matter of good opportunity or timing when you're working either in research or industry. Something that's very critical are letters of recommendation. You need at least one, does not have to be all 3, but at least one from a research or industry supervisor who can say that they see that you can be successful in graduate school, that you work well with others, that you've shown strong promise. Finally, also written statements are something that's very important as well. They can help give insight in your motivations, how well you articulate yourself, and I strongly encourage that you customize your statements and your letters to each school you apply to. So tell us who you're interested in working with, and tell us about why you're interested in coming to our school as well as other schools that you're applying to. And I know I covered a lot of things very quickly, but most and all of that is found in different places on our BME website.